afternoon and welcome to News 6 Extra. I'm News 6 anchor Lisa Bell. Today is Wednesday, September 17th, and joining us now is our producer, Kathleen Winningham, standing by. She's got a jam-packed show for us today. How are you doing, Kathleen?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Great. We do have some rain that's in the forecast. We're going to be speaking with meteorologist David Nazario momentarily, but first we also have a story coming up a little later on News 6 Extra about pets. And I know it's interesting, you and I both have dogs.
Yes.
They have the same name.
Do they really?
Lucy, yours is Lucy Bell, right?
Lucy Bell, yes.
So my dog's name is Lucy, but her last name is Bell.
Right. So that's true. That's true. They have the same names.
And
nice.
Your dog and my youngest son share the same birthday of 9/9.
Right.
And dogs can be pricey. That's what this story is all about.
They can be pricey. You know,
not just dogs, but all pets.
Well, yeah, true, all pets. But yeah, dogs can be expensive. My Lucy can be expensive.
Yes.
But you know, you want the best for them, so we spend the money.
Yes. Well, there is a pet project that's helping out with some of the costs of pets, of having a pet. And we're going to get to that story in just a little bit. But first, as I mentioned, meteorologist David Nazario is standing by because we are tracking some showers already on the radar. I'm looking outside right now. Can see it's cloudy outside. I've been getting alerts from my News 6 app telling me to expect some rain, David.
Bubbling up right outside our doorstep, to tell you the truth. The rest of Central Florida is pretty quiet for the time being. We've got some noisy stuff off the Brevard County coastline right now, but if you look closely near where it says Orlando, Central Orange County, we've got some stuff bubbling up as we finally get closer towards the hottest part of the day. This is going to be the wheel of change we've been discussing the last several days. We're starting to see a once perched upper level low that was sitting over northern Florida and Georgia since last week through the weekend and the first half of this week. That's finally moved on out. As a result, we've taken those fall-like conditions and scooted them on out of here as well, and that's why we're starting to see more and more of the moisture and the tropical humidity coming right at us. If you look, I have a zoomed out. There's a couple different things I want to notice here, and I want you to note at home. First and foremost, right over the state of Florida, look at that surge of all the green colors. That's all that tropical moisture from the Western Caribbean and the Yucatan Peninsula to our southwest that's surging in. So we're going to see a good increase in the amount of cloud cover. It's going to feel a lot muggier outside, so we're back to taking 4 showers a day if you're outside moving about during the rest of the week. And then also notice on the immediate right-hand side of the graphic there, we've got a name on the board. Yeah. In terms of the tropics, it's taken us 17 days into the month of September, but we're finally tracking another named storm. Stick with me through the briefing. I'll talk a little bit about that momentarily. But for now, temperatures outside fairly tame. We're still rocking in the mid-80s for the time being, and our forecast highs don't go too much higher than that. It's really not going to be the temperatures that get us as we transition between air masses, going from that pseudo fall-like setup back into this last glimpse of summertime as we approach the official calendar start of the fall season. You can see Gainesville and Ocala actually do manage to get beyond that 90-degree threshold, but the rest of us will be kicking it in the upper 80s this afternoon. Notice here, however, and I'll take you in for a closer look, the humidity is starting to go up. For the last several days now, even back into this past weekend, we were sitting between 40 to about 60% relative humidity out there. Now we're starting to get back up into that upper quarter of the fraction, if you will, closer to 100%. And especially tomorrow into this weekend, we're really going to see that muggy meter, as I like to call it, going off the scale once again. So for your day today, notice the percentages are a lot more active. If you joined us on Monday and Tuesday, we really didn't have much in terms of rain out there. Now we're seeing, starting right about now, rocking out until after sunset tonight, we're going to have some showers and a bit more of them to do battle with as you end your day this afternoon and get into the early evening evening hours of your hump day Wednesday. Increased clouds and heftier rains this afternoon is going to be the headline, and I want to walk you through exactly what that looks like. Let me get my face out of the way. You can see the model is doing a pretty decent job. I say decent because if you look over Brevard, Orange, and Osceola, these showers here should be over here. They're not inland right now, but the model is trying to say we're getting some thunderstorms in our eastern counties. That's not quite happening just yet. We're seeing the development closer to Apopka in Orlando, but I digress. Either way, it's still doing a fairly decent job in showing us where it is we're going to start to see the action, and there you have it. By 1 o'clock into 2 o'clock, you can see things really start to percolate out there, and more of us will see the heartier rainfall as we go through the afternoon today, spreading throughout Sumter, Lake County, down through Polk. My area looks to get hammered this afternoon if this model does verify out there in Davenport and eastern Polk County, northwestern Osceola. And then finally, as the sun begins to set, we start to see dissipation begin, and by 8 o'clock, maybe some light rains out there for our eastern counties. Once again, similar to what we saw yesterday, but things should start to clear out. So the big kicker here is just going to be the introduction of that moisture. Nothing else is really driving the thunderstorms outside of just mixing the good old-fashioned heat of the day and that extra moisture bubbling up from the south. Then as we go into this weekend, I'm going to be watching this very closely for all of us, because if you notice, as I fast forward our European computer model, the moisture does stick around. We get a weak trough to come through, kind of nudge it off towards the east, but then check out that random area of low pressure that may try to sneak up into southeast Florida. That could really ramp up our rain chances as we go through Saturday and especially Sunday. So more on that to come. We're going to be dialing in that forecast as we go over the next couple days. And then we turn our attention to the tropics. This is what could be, and I say what could be because this is a fairly disorganized tropical storm, but this is Gabrielle as of this afternoon. National Hurricane Center decided to upgrade Tropical Depression number 7 earlier this morning to tropical storm status once they finally found enough evidence to support 45 miles an hour in the center of circulation. Here's that 11 o'clock advisory for you right now. 45-mile-an-hour sustained winds with a central pressure of 1,006 millibars, and this thing is rocking towards the north-northwest at 22 miles an hour. It's starting to feel a little bit of an influence of an upper-level feature that was running in tandem with it, kind of side by side. It's yanking it to the north, and that's why we've kind of seen that low-level center move towards the north as well, and why it looks like Laffy Taffy getting stretched out there in the tropics. And I know the biggest question on everyone's mind is, where is Gabrielle going? Well, this looks like another one that should be staying far away from Central Florida. When I take you through the cone forecast as of 11 o'clock, we'll get a new track at 5 o'clock. You can see it does level out and finally start to move generally westward once again over the next few days, and then gets dangerously close to Bermuda as a possible Category 1 hurricane before sniffing that weakness out there in the Atlantic and curving away from the United States. So we finally have our 7th named system on the board. We've cleared out one column of names here. Next up on the list would be Humberto, to embrace my Hispanic side there. Got to roll the R. And then follow that up with Imelda. So those storms do have the potential to join us here before September wraps up. We're going to keep a close eye on the tropics because even though it's been kind of slow to start, a bit of a fizzle out there, we are still in the peak of the tropical Atlantic hurricane season. Lastly, we'll close out with our 7-day forecast. You can see rain chances are going to be on the up and up as we head towards the weekend. Thankfully, though, because of the increased rainfall, temperatures should stay fairly tame. It's just the humidity out there we're going to have to once again get used to all over again, Lisa.
All right, got it all covered for us. Thank you, as always, David. We want to switch gears now and talk about a story that we've been following this week. Really a tragic story out of Edgewater along the coast. Just heartbreak, really, in the community as they continue to honor their fallen police officer, David Jewell. Now, he was shot and killed on Monday afternoon while shopping inside a Circle K gas station in Ormond by the Sea. And our News 6 Volusia County correspondent, Angie Casada, shows us how residents are now remembering his service and what the sheriff is now revealing about the investigation into his death.
I went inside to get something to eat or get some chips, and there's a guy right there in the door dead.
911 calls capture the chaos inside a Circle K in Ormond by the Sea Monday after investigators say 24-year-old Eduardo Mercado shot off duty Edgewater police officer David Jewell. Jewell had stopped to buy a hot dog. Mercado, now charged with first-degree murder, appeared before a judge Tuesday.
That gun was bought to assassinate police officer Jewell for whatever reason this guy was thinking.
Detectives say Mercado confessed to having a past argument with Jewell, but couldn't explain when or why.
There's so much evil in this world today. And to see something like this happen to an innocent individual that would protect you from the evil. It's just one less person in this world that we have to do that.
Outside Edgewater Police Headquarters, the community is focusing on something else, honoring the life of a fallen officer.
It just gives them faith that there will be justice served, and just to know that the community is there waiting and wanting to know exactly what happened and give them some peace.
Yes, we need to stand together. Unity. Everybody needs to be on the same page here and embrace each other.
Edgewater Police tell us funeral arrangements are still being finalized. In the meantime, the memorial here outside headquarters continues to grow, a reflection of how much Officer Jewell meant to this community. Reporting in Edgewater, I'm your Volusia County Community Correspondent Angie Casada, News 6.
Angie, thank you. Drivers in Brevard County may want to think twice before passing a school bus. Those buses are now equipped with new AI technology to catch drivers who are breaking the law by going around school buses when they are stopped. Now, starting today, violators will begin getting a $225 ticket. As News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez explains, the technology is almost like having a mobile red light camera.
I'm Stephanie Rodriguez reporting in Brevard County. A partnership between the school district and the Brevard County Sheriff's Office will now be ticketing people $225 if they're caught illegally passing a school bus. They're using AI-powered technology to do this.
I think it's a good thing. I've seen lots of cars kind of go over the school buses, like go around them just because they're impatient, and you don't know who's crossing.
Parents know not every driver respects school buses when they're stopped, and now those drivers will get a hefty citation in the mail.
I think it's a wonderful idea. I'm fully supporting it because I see a lot of people ignoring it, and we have very, very busy road here. So I think it's a great idea.
The bus safety program is a collaboration between the Sheriff's Office and the school district designed to alter driver behavior. The program has equipped school buses with advanced safety technology, including AI-powered stop arm cameras that detect when a car illegally passes a bus. Florida law requires drivers to stop when a school bus displays its stop signal, but parents continue to see people drive recklessly near school buses.
I witnessed a little girl get hit at the last place we were at in Texas. By just driver being impatient around a suburb. Speed limit was 25 miles an hour. Must have been going maybe 35, 40. So
during the camera's pilot program, 10 buses recorded nearly 800 illegal passings. That's about 2 passes per bus per day.
Even if you're late, you're just late, and that's fine. It's not worth accidentally hitting somebody.
The footage is sent to law enforcement for independent review before the driver is sent a $225 ticket. Data from Bus Patrol, the company that created the AI technology, shows that over 90% of first-time violators do not illegally pass a school bus again. Reporting in Brevard County, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
I love it. There is nothing more infuriating as a driver when you see another driver doing something like that. I mean, I feel like these things need to be all over, even on the side of like law enforcement vehicles when they're pulled over and people aren't pulling over or not moving to the side. I don't know if that's actually a law, but when you see an ambulance coming through, it's just, you got little kids out there, and I get it that you're in a rush, but you can't be driving like that.
Oh no, I've seen it on my way home. Just the impatience, even in school zones. They don't want to slow down in school zones. And then also with the buses. And so I love it. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. And unfortunately, our police, they can't be everywhere. They can't see absolutely everything. So when you've got a bus that's actually equipped with this, I think it's great. So hopefully it'll extend the learning beyond the classroom to the roads for these drivers who need a little lesson in that. All right.
Exactly.
As promised, we are going to take a little break, but when we come back, we're going to be talking about the cost of owning a pet. Also, I recently had the opportunity to go to a 101-year-old golf course in Central Florida that is going high tech. It is so cool. And then, of course, the big news that people have been waiting for months. The Federal Reserve expected to make an announcement in just a few hours on interest rates. And we're going to be looking into that decision that is expected in just hours coming up right after this break. Welcome back to News 6 Extra. I'm News 6 anchor Lisa Bell. The big news of the day, of course, the Federal Reserve. All eyes on the Federal Reserve. Economists and investors are widely predicting a cut in key interest rates, but how much they will cut is still up in the air. CNN's Amy Kiley explains what the decision could mean for your wallet.
My expectation is they will vote for a cut.
Analysts expect Federal Reserve decision makers to reduce interest rates today for the first time since December. Most estimate at least a quarter-point drop. That would bring the target federal funds rate to between 4 and 4.25%. Such a cut usually makes it cheaper to borrow money.
They set the price and supply of money. That literally affects how much we pay for our mortgage, our credit card, our auto loan, and it affects really the entire base of business.
The Fed vote comes as FICO reports the biggest credit score drop since the Great Recession. For some Americans, that's pushing loan costs the other way.
The higher the score, the cheaper it is to borrow, and vice versa. Lower scores make it more expensive to borrow.
In addition to impacting debt, a Fed interest rate cut also can increase inflation. Many economists say tariffs are doing that already.
Things are going to cost more in the grocery store. Your BLT is going to be like bacon and lettuce because tomatoes are up.
Fed decision makers also affect the yield on savings accounts and CDs, and they can influence retirement funds in the stock market.
They will indicate what we call a loosening bias or an easing bias, but they won't commit ahead of time to future cuts. And I think the markets may react a little negatively to that.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
We'll have to wait and see. That decision expected to come out after 2 o'clock this afternoon. All right, Kathleen is joining us now. She's standing by, and she has her dog Lucy Bell, as we mentioned at the top of the program.
Yes.
She just threw a birthday party for Lucy. How much did that set you back?
Well, I would say probably overall maybe $80.
Oh,
maybe.
that's not terrible. Not
Maybe.
terrible.
I mean, I had help. My mom helped me with it,
Okay.
and buying some of the decorations and whatnot. But
Okay.
but yeah, probably around 80 to 100, I would think.
She's worth every penny.
She is.
And as we know, that's how most pet owners feel, but the cost of owning a pet can be pricey. Studies have shown it can cost around $1,000 a year when you factor in things like food and vet bills. That's not including birthday parties. So when the money gets tight, some pet owners are forced, unfortunately, this is just heartbreaking, to place their pets up for adoption because they just have no other choice. However, as CBS's Christian Benavides shows us, there is one organization in South Florida that is working to keep some of those pets with their families.
Fort Lauderdale, Florida resident Kathleen Ortega is homebound because of a disability. To care for her cat Selena, she counts on volunteers like Sylvia Druitt, who regularly visits her home.
There you go.
On a hot September day in South Florida, that meant bringing cat litter and food up a flight of stairs. Druitt decided to volunteer for the Pet Project for Pets after the organization helped when Druitt experienced hard times.
For the people, for the pets, it's life-changing for me. I feel like every day, I got a purpose to go out and help somebody else.
The goal is to help pet owners so their furry loved ones can stay out of the shelter system. Sue Martino is the executive director.
The shelters are overcrowded. Animals are being euthanized because there's no room.
The nonprofit started in 2002, helping people living with HIV/AIDS care for their pets. It has expanded its services since then. Now the group hands out up to 15 tons of food each month.
The people barely have food for themselves, and they prefer to feed an animal before they feed themselves.
The organization runs on donations, grants, and volunteers who help run this thrift store. All the money raised here goes to help pet families in need. The store offers discounted prices on pet items as well as furniture and even TVs. Ortega is grateful. Without the help, she says she wouldn't know how to care for Selena.
You treat your animal like if it's a kid. It has needs, and it's expensive. It's like taking care of a kid.
The organization ensures families of all kinds stay intact. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Fort Lauderdale.
Love that organization. And we know, loneliness among our senior citizens is a huge problem. And to be able to stay in your home and have a companion there, your pet, it really not only just affects your mental health, but it can have physical benefits as well.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's kind of hard to be lonely and sad when you have a loving pet around.
Right?
But,
yeah.
And I hate when people have to make that decision of to put their pet up for adoption or leave it behind in some cases if they move or have to.
Center coming to the historic golf course's driving range.
We'll be able to give the classes, they can hit full shots out into the range, get all that instruction, and then just turn around and now work on short game shots into the practice green.
And when the weather gets rough, students will soon be able to step inside a new air-conditioned, high-tech tee box.
Oh, what am I hitting here?
You're hitting a 7-iron.
So I took a swing at it.
How bad was I?
This tells you your ball speed. This tells you your club path.
Oh, I would have gotten 132 yards?
Yeah, you would have went 130.
That's good.
Director of Instruction Steve Brewer says the technology from TrackMan analyzes your swing, breaking it down into 44 separate categories.
This is center line is the middle of the fairway, so you're not too far off of the middle of the fairway. That's the height of the shot.
The technology also available in 36 redesigned bays in the now covered driving range. Out here, each golfer's shot will be tracked by Doppler radar.
You've got just straight practice scenarios. You've got different games you can play. You can actually play different golf courses. And I'm very excited to say that TrackMan's actually going to map Dubsdread Golf Course. So any other TrackMan facility has the capability of downloading that and playing that course as well.
But that's not all. Next to the chipping green, chips and beverages will now be served at the range's new 19th hole.
Why is having something like this so important for the city?
This brings the community together. Couple that with what's happening with the tap room, and now you really have the feeling of a country club, but you don't have to pay those fees. You just come here and enjoy it.
Orlando City Commissioner Robert Stewart says it's important to preserve the course's storied history while making it on par with other attractions.
We want families to come out on an evening and sit around and hit golf balls the same way you would at Top Golf and other those places. We're not going to be able to do it right here on our own property.
I love it. And I look forward to when they plan to open, which will hopefully be in October, which will hopefully be perfect timing weather-wise. It'll start to cool down a little bit and we won't have to deal with all of those afternoon thunderstorms that we've been dealing with. Thank you so much for spending some time with us on this Wednesday. You can, of course, always get the latest updates at clickorlando.com throughout the day. And be sure to join us for our next newscast starting at 4 o'clock this afternoon.